Well, I think the opportunities in India are huge. I can think of it like this. Think of it, how would India be if every Indian was connected to an electronic payment system? Any Indian, no matter how poor you are, you can receive money from relatives who want to help you in a moment of need. If you're a small trader, you can send money to a supplier further afield so you can get a cost advantage on the supply of your inputs. So you can park some money with a bank that you trust because you have a good way of depositing, withdrawing money safely from that bank. You can source loans from whoever's going to give you the best deal. So the opportunities of connecting every Indian to an electronic payment system are very large and very varied. Not to mention all the benefits for government, of course, in terms of distribution of electronic benefits, the reduction of corruption that entails. So the opportunity is huge, particularly in India, where we know that there is much more of a savings culture than you might find in many places in Africa. But we know there's a lot of internal migration. People are always seeking new opportunities. And so they need the help to be able to access those opportunities. So I see the opportunities in India huge. Perhaps the biggest challenge in the Indian context is such a big country. How do you tackle this notion of every Indian having an access to an electronic payment system? This has been achieved in Kenya, where around 70% of adults are now connected to that single national electronic payment platform that is M-Pesa. Think of what that would mean in an Indian context. Who's going to build all that infrastructure? Who's going to do all the marketing to the customers around all of that? So in a sense, what's happening in India is a very piecemeal approach, very small pilots, people experimenting with it. But the problem is, if you do things small and too incrementally, that undermines the business case. If you do a payments platform that is only in one village, I'm not sure that offers that much value to people. So there's been incrementalism in the spread of the network, but also incrementalism in terms of what is the offering for the customer. A lot of the focus so far has been opening accounts. Well, that's great, but people are not using those accounts. The reason is because the basic offering that is being presented to customers in the form of a no-frills account is just not interesting to people. Just because you present to me an electronic wallet, does that make me want to put money down there? No, I'll continue doing what I've always done. That wallet doesn't relate to how I think about my money. And if those wallets that are being presented to people are in a closed loop because they're in a separate server than the core banking system of the bank, so they're not connected to the rest of the payment system, I can't use it to send money. So what's been happening in India is a lot of experimentation, but without a clear understanding of how that's adding value to customers. The customer has been forgotten into all of this. I think to a large extent, this has been reinforced by the policy of mandating financial inclusion in villages of more than 2,000 villages, which clearly well-intentioned, but has made the look for answers on the supply side more important than the answers on the demand side. It's not just a matter of giving accounts to people. It's not just a matter of building business correspondence in villages. It's a matter of finding the reasons why customers are going to use it. Without usage, there is no value proposition for the bank. And hence the bank is doing whatever it feels it needs to do to satisfy mandates or to be seen as playing the game, but they don't really have an aspiration to scale it up. I think there's very few players in India today that are convinced that that's the case, despite the clear logic of a country where there's a lot of internal migration with the needs for remittances, despite a country that has a savings culture, despite a country that has demonstrated to be very responsible about the use of credit as well. So all the elements are there. We just need to put the right packaging.